Speaker, you know I've been very keen on this particular matter of the policy around school uniforms. And I have been that keen on them because I am very passionate on access to education for millions of our children. And what the CS is telling us is what we have heard before. CS, we have heard this story over and over again. We are simply tired of hearing the same thing over and over again. Circulars, what the CS is telling us is that there was a circular dated 30th May 2023 saying the things that are happening today. What I expected the CS to tell us, and I know he has a retinue of education sector amendments that they were working on, and I wish the chair of the Education Committee was here to tell us where they are on it, is if teachers and those who are managing our schools are not adhering to your circulars. Because your circulars have just become pieces of paper that you send to schools. Nobody cares, nobody bothers to implement what you send to schools. As your circulars are being ignored, parents are being punished. Children are suffering at home because they cannot access schools, because they don't have uniform. Honorable Speaker, Honorable CS, it took none other than His Excellency the President, January this year, to issue a directive which again was not being followed through by your officers in the ministry. And I'm saying this here because what I would have expected to hear from you and the ministry today is, since you have circulars, you have guidelines. The Teacher Service Commission, as much as it may be an independent constitutional commission, you have an oversight role over this commission. What is it that you are doing to ensure that you take action against teachers who do not adhere to your guidelines? They don't follow the regulations that you have put in place around school uniforms. Because as we speak, CS, go to your own village, the schools in your constituency, in your village, you will discover 2 or 3 things. One, parents are still buying uniforms in schools against your guidelines. 2, parents are still being directed where to go and buy uniforms if they are not being sold in the school. 3, at the time grade 10s were reporting to schools, vendors had set up shops in schools. When did our school CS stop being institutions of learning and became shops for uniforms? Because all that teachers are doing now is congregating vendors to come and sell those uniforms in school. The other thing, Honorable Speaker, that I would have expected the CS to address, and the ministry is not personal on the CS, is a ministry, and that is why we sought policy guidelines. Grade 1 to grade 6 uniform. You are in a primary school called Gesharani Primary School in Kekambura village, where I come from. Grade 7, 8, 9. That child is still in Gesharani Primary School in the same village called Kekambura in Kikuyu constituency. Why do we need to change uniform? Because we are subjecting parents and these children. First, we are traumatizing children those who cannot afford uniform are being harassed every day they go to school because they have not changed their uniform from the primary school to the JSS uniform. Why is it important for us to change uniform at JSS? And I thought we were to make education accessible in line with Article 43 of our Constitution to every child in this country, whether you have means or you do not have. CS. I do not see that coming from the ministry at all. No policy guidance, no corrective action when the teachers don't follow your circulars. Now, CS, what you have done, you have come back to remind us that there are circulars. So if you have circulars and they are not being followed, then what are you people doing in the ministry? Where is TSC? I wish you would have told us. I have legislative proposals that I want to bring to you to criminalize any teacher who sends away a child on account of not having school uniform away from school. When the president issued this directive in January this year, I had not less than 100 SMSs CS. Maybe because you people are very comfortable in posh offices here in Nairobi, you do not know what is going on on the ground. These members of parliament have to deal with those issues every day. They are the ones who are sponsoring students using NGCDF bursary. You pay school fees, the children cannot get to grade 10 because a teacher somewhere is now the Lord of Lords and the Alpha and Omega in a school and sends the child home. These parents cannot access your offices. So unless you either criminalize or you tell us what is it that you are doing to make sure that there is recourse for teachers who do not follow circulars. But it doesn't help us to come and tell us there was a circular of May 2023, another one January 2026. I am sure even now you will issue more circulars, but nobody will follow them. Honorable Speaker, I think the CS and the Ministry of Education must take this matter of school uniforms with the seriousness it deserves. You are simply being too casual with it, and you cannot afford to be casual with access to education for our children. And I may be agitated because this is very personal to me, Honorable Speaker.
I know, but
and to very many members.
I know, so you
and it's not about me, it's about our children.
No, you're right.
Children of Kenya who see us as we wear ties and suits in town. There are children today who cannot access school. There are children today who have been chased home. They are opening school next week. I am certain if you and your PSs took time to go to these schools, you will go and discover there are children who have been chased away because of uniform, because of lunch. Children don't go to school to eat. And if they were going, they have to eat, yes. But nobody should send away a child out of school because they have not paid for a lunch program. There are circulars on lunch program. But who is following them? Who is following these circulars? These members will tell you in all their constituencies. I'm not talking about Kikuyu constituency. In fact, Kikuyu constituency, I'll tell you, Honorable CS, I take it so personally that if I get a case, I go to the school myself. But how many of us can afford that? I have that rare privilege because my constituency is 10 minutes away from this house. Honorable Gesairo cannot be going to Kisii, to Nyamira, every other day when he gets calls, when he gets texts here from parents, oh, my child has been sent home because of lunch. The best he can do is to send M-Pesa to the parent to pay lunch. But these members cannot afford to pay lunch for every student. We have a school feeding program again. This school feeding program is the headquarters of corruption in the Ministry of Education. And I say that without blinking an eyelid. I know, Honorable Speaker, I will get to it. You know, there are people who are in that office before who stole relief food in their earlier life.
You're doing so well. I just
not that one.
Order. You're doing so well. I just wanted to lose out of
Honorable Speaker.
the uniform issue.
Honorable Speaker, I said this is very personal to me. I wish the CS will tell this House, without being casual about this matter, what are we going to do to address this problem? Because it is a live problem, and it is there. I see in the UK and in other countries, Honorable Speaker, when you move from primary school to junior secondary, all you need is a badge on your coat lapel or on your school sweater or a change of tie. Yeah, you have a striped tie or a plain tie. When you get to JSS, you get a striped tie to distinguish you from those in primary school. But why are you having to subject? When I read this statement by the CS, I see no allusion to that. CS, the people who have prepared this statement for you, are doing you a great disservice.
Thank you.
Very great disservice. Because you are not addressing the issues that we want to be addressed.
CS, in summary, to respond to Honorable